Hello and welcome to another episode of Fanart Friday. So this is the fourth episode and the first episode of the year. Now today I'll be sculpting Wolverine, but this is kind of an older sculpt. I did this many moons ago. I'm just doing the voiceover now, and I kind of tend to do this because I record a lot of these sculpts in batches, and by the time I get around to doing a voiceover, it's sometimes months, and in some rare cases even over a year. It has happened. So what I'm doing here is just working off of a base. So this base right here is an older model of the Space Ghost character. It's a retro cartoon character, and I did a kind of realistic interpretation of this guy, and I never got around to recording the process of this particular one. But if you want to see like how I got to that point, you can go back in my channel and check out some of my videos where I sculpt things from basically a Dynamesh sphere. So here what I'm doing is just bringing out some of the forms and trying to define certain things that make this character unique. Now Wolverine is quite a cool design in 2D, but in 3D it is quite difficult to adapt certain things. Sometimes it doesn't make all the sense in the world, and I feel like I could have done a much better job. I felt like I was just copying the design for one to one, and I feel like I should have taken some more creative liberty to, rather than do a one-to-one reproduction of this character. I feel like I should have gone ahead and changed up the design a bit, made it more functional, and make some sense, so to speak. Now, I haven't seen all the Wolverine films that are out there. I've seen a few, and in those, it's just basically Hugh Jackman running around without a t-shirt. So it would be kind of cool to see a adaptation of this design in the big screen, on the big screen, I mean. So I haven't seen one done yet, or I'm not aware that it exists. If it does, let me know in the comments. I'm totally oblivious. But yeah, if it hasn't been done, it would be pretty cool to see the design choices that they make to adapt this particular suit for feature film and things like that. So now I'm just working on that neck region, just kind of pushing and pulling some of that musculature and defining certain things. I'm also taking out some of those details from the older character that I had. I'm also going to edit the pose just a little bit, thinking about what this is going to look like at the end, because I am going to render and fashion some stuff and turn this into a little bit of a portrait keyframe thingy. So just continuing to push and pull things. I'm not going to get too into the process. I will be doing a small video course on how to create realistic fan art using digital techniques. So we'll be getting into sculpting in 3D. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about post-processing using software like Photoshop, Krita, all that stuff. And we will also talk a little bit about the future of AI and things like that, what that means for this industry. So I'm not going to get too into AI and things like that. Most of you already know my thoughts on it. I've kind of discussed it in at great length on my DeviantArt, and I will do a video eventually talking about my thoughts on it. At this point in time, it's legally and ethically, I think it's very risky, and I think it's completely unfair the way in which these tools were built. And I don't want to make this video a a discussion about AI. You know, I will talk about this at great length in another video. So I've kind of, lined up my thoughts. I know what I want to talk about. There's a lot of argument going back and forth on the whole AI thing. There's a lot of debate and things like that, so I don't want to get into that in this particular video. I've got a lot to say about it, but I'm gonna keep it out of this one. So that being said, I hit 1,000 subscribers, so thanks to all of you that watched the channel and subscribed. I really appreciate you sticking around and watching this stuff. I'm glad to see that some of you are benefiting from the tutorials that I've done. I'm not sure if some of you know, I've not actually been really great on promoting stuff, so I've actually got a Discord, so I get a lot of questions, and some of them I can answer in a comment, but some of you ask some detailed questions which I can only show you. So if you have questions, more detailed questions, things that are going to take time to explain, just join the Discord and ask your questions there. I'll be able to jump on the live stream and help you guys out with some of the problems that you are facing. So if you're not aware, I've got a Discord going right now, and so you guys can jump on. The link will be in the description, so you can ask me for questions. I sometimes do live streams. I haven't been doing too many live streams in the last few months, but I'll be getting back to doing them pretty often. I sometimes do them, work on some personal projects, or I'll be working on some 3D stuff, or I kind of work on 3D, 2D, both. So you can catch whatever you want. I'll kind of have a schedule or something out so that you guys can see what I'm working on and tune in if that interests you. So that's what that is for. You can ask your questions there, join in on the live streams, work along with me. Sometimes I do some study sessions, so you can just join in and things like that if you are interested. So some of you have also requested some fan art and things like that, so I will get to some of them, not all of them. I'll only get to things that I think are interesting to do, and also, it's not going to take too much of time out of my day. So here what's happening is I just basically brought in a cylinder just to carve out those teeth, and I pretty much use simple brushes, Damien Standard, clay buildup, move brush, trim dynamic, and things like that. So just the fundamentals, nothing fancy at all. So right here I'm sculpting in the platysma, and I kind of bulked up the chest and the delts and stuff like that. So just going in with a clay buildup and building all that stuff up. So I will be doing a tutorial on how to go about doing these realistic interpretations of some of these superhero characters. So you can look out for that. I'll be dropping that pretty soon. I've also got some other tutorials in the works. So these are all premium tutorials that I'm talking about. I've been working on some of them for a while, and I'll be dropping them soon. You can expect something on designing with subdivision surfaces, sculpting in ZBrush, pretty much any tool actually. The the fundamentals are the same, irrespective of whether you're using Blender or ZBrush. So something on sculpting, and yeah, I'm not going to get into too much detail at this point. I will talk about it moving forward. And now that I hit 1,000 subs, I thought it would be, you know, the right time to do a little bit of a special video. So I'll be working on something which I will drop pretty soon. Also, if you folks have any kind of requests, then be sure to, you know, drop it in the comments. And if you have some thoughts you'd like to share, it's also welcome. The community tab is also now available on my channel, so do check that out. I'll be running some polls there, so you can just let me know what you're interested in, and I can work on tutorials on those particular topics and things of that nature. Also, in other news, I got banned off of ArtStation. I'll probably do an update video, a channel update video, a proper one, sometime, you know, in the next few days, I suppose, talking a little bit more in detail. But for now, if you want to know why that happened, you can just hop onto my Twitter. Just check out Twitter. I kind of posted about it there. And it was kind of funny, but anyway, I don't want to talk too much about that in this video. Alright, so now I'm just working on that clavicle, just exaggerating all that stuff a bit. I'm getting into the poly painting phase now, so just filling in the color and going in with a standard brush and filling in all that detail. So nothing much, just very basic, simple coloring here. I'm not being I'm not being fancy with anything here. It's just very simple. And all these things don't take more than like maybe 4 hours, and I kind of spread it out across the week. Sometimes, you know, you can add maybe a little bit more time for the post-processing and stuff like that. I will be sharing my post-processing workflow in the Fanart tutorial that I'll be making. It'll be kind of in-depth. I'll include some models for you folks to download and things like that. It'll be on my Gumroad. So be sure to subscribe on Gumroad or follow me on Gumroad, whatever they have there. You'll know when the course goes live. So now filling in some of that color for the skin. And I'm working on these almost like they would be an action figure, so to speak. So I'm not too happy with that, you know, the shoulder pad, that design. Not too happy with that. So you'll see me kind of go back in there and work on that design again. It doesn't really make any sense, like how is it exactly attached to the suit and things like that. So if I were to go back and do this thing, I would kind of think more functionally and just think about how this is actually attached to the suit and why. Ask myself these questions while I'm working. You know, in hindsight, I could have done a much better job. So continuing to add color, and in the 3D and in the sculpting stage, I don't push it too far because I also like to just paint over these models. So I'm always thinking about the entire workflow. I'll look at what I can do in 3D quickly and then jump into 2D and see what can be done quickly in 2D. It's a fun way of working. So just working in that pattern on a suit. Just switching the perspective on and off just to see how things read. Not my favorite sculpt, but it is what it is. So just pulling and pushing in terms of the details, just seeing what I can do to exaggerate that musculature. And like I mentioned before, I'm also going to rework those shoulder pads that he's got. Going in and tidying up some of those forms just a little bit. I'm not going to polish anything too much. This is still very, very rough. And I kind of just keep it at this stage. There's, you know, for a personal project like this, there's no point in like pushing the quality so far. I'm anyways going to be painting over a lot of this stuff. So now I've gone ahead and reworked that shoulder pad there. Wasn't happy with the way the last one looked. Kind of looked awful in terms of the shapes. They're trying to create better, more appealing, I guess you could say more appealing shapes. And I'm using that trim dynamic brush and the inflate brush. So just messing a little bit with the polish, trying to make this super clean. Usually these kind of details I would do in Blender itself. I don't use the zero mesher all that much. I'm not a big fan of the zero mesher. If you're wondering what that awful green is on the character, it's just that I painted in the wrong material. And every time I switch, that thing, you know, tends to switch along with the different matte caps that I'm using. So continuing to roid up those delts, those traps, to make them look humongous. Alright, so that's pretty much all I have to say for this video. You can enjoy the rest of it. My throat's probably gonna give out if I flap my gums any longer. So, Yeah, thanks for sticking around, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao.